Are you listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any other platform where you can leave a rate or review? Do you like what we're doing? If the answer to all of that is yes, please consider quickly giving us a 5-star rate. And if you wouldn't mind leaving us a nice review, we greatly appreciate that as well. Okay, let's do this.
Hello, welcome to the Ghosts of Harrenhal. My name's Simon.
And I'm Mackelly.
Thank you for joining us for episode 340 of our chapter-by-chapter book review of A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. Today, we'll be discussing chapter 68 of A Dance with Dragons, which is The Dragontamer.
Oh. As always, we're going to chat about the chapter and try not to spoil any future plot points for you. Unless, of course, you have a Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer tier that includes spoilers, well, then we are going to spoil things for you. But regardless, hopefully we'll provide you some entertainment along the way.
We'll summarise what happened, discuss our thoughts on it, provide some useful background, compare it to the television show, indulge in a little pedantry and cover some relevant news and listener correspondence. Be sure to check out the show notes, they'll provide some additional information about the characters and geography of this chapter. How are you, Mackelly?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you back. It was really fun having Jenny, and it's also good to have you back.
Yeah, I was just, confession, I will talk about how great Jenny was next week when I've listened to the episode that I missed. And I haven't actually heard it yet. I'm sure you were fantastic, Jenny.
Yeah, we had fun. We had a good time. And we, like I told you, we went a crisp 1 hour on the dot. Yeah. Something like that.
You know what? We're both to blame. We're both to blame for the overrun, is the truth.
Well, I am doing fine, but you have been away, and you have a laundry list of topics to discuss. So.
I do. So, seriously, there's enough content for 2 episodes here. So I may get selective with which ones I choose here. But
okay, yes.
So we went on vacation again. Thank you to Jenny allowing me to do that without delaying the podcast. And we were in. I have no secrets from you people. We were in Fort Lauderdale, which is in Florida on the Atlantic coast.
Yes.
And we were staying in a hotel, and just sort of like, beach hotel, nice food, just the 2 of us, romantic long weekend. It was great.
Oh, it sounds great.
Yeah. Next door, and I mean, when I say next door, I mean probably like 2 miles north of our hotel, there was an air show going on.
Oh, okay.
Now, I'm not an aficionado of air shows, but one thing I can tell you about air shows now is they are really loud. They are incredibly loud. And because Fort Lauderdale's quite built up with quite sort of skyscrapers, or not skyscrapers, but tall buildings,
Yeah.
And so from my hotel window, I could see patches of sky here and here between tall buildings kind of thing. So every time my fillings shook in my head, I would run to the window and look out to where the sound was coming from to see nothing whatsoever. This thing had flown past a minute earlier, and left its sound behind. So I never saw a plane.
Never saw a single. Just heard them. You got a sound show, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I got. But I'm sure it was spectacular. I mean, just the sound of it was spectacular.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being right there, because it was cacophonous where we were. I mean, I guess we were close enough they were basically flying at the same height over us as they were over the air show.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people were probably on the ground, and you were above the ground, so maybe you were slightly closer.
I was only on the 2nd floor of the hotel. I wasn't
okay.
Way high.
Right.
Oh man, guy rippled my hair
or something. I guess you could have sat in your window the whole time. Maybe you would have.
I'm sure if I just looked out the window, I could have seen a plane. But trying to see a plane that you heard was a fool's errand.
Yes.
My other stories both come from going boating this weekend. So how about this for exciting?
Wow.
Simon of the One Arm went wakeboarding this weekend.
Oh, no. And now you have no arms?
No, it went great. It felt really good. In fact, today I had PT and my arm was the most supple it had been since the surgery. So if anything, it helped.
Maybe that's the trick.
Well, I will say my wakeboarding, which is what contributory factor to my tearing my rotator cuff, was a lot more conservative this time. My goal was to stay on my feet, not to leap across the wake like a 20-year-old.
Right. Good decision making there. I'm very proud of you for the restraint you showed.
So our friends invited us, and we we were packing up to go on Sunday morning, and Carson at the last minute said, I'm not really feeling that great. I think I'd rather not go. I want you to still go. And as you know, I did. She said, but I'll just go to the grocery store and I'll just stay home. I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah. So I left, and she was getting ready to go to the grocery store as I left. And when I came back, she said, okay, so get what happened, right? I went to the grocery store, and she did a big shop. She spent $300.
Woo! Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
She said, I got back and nobody's in the house because Lucas is back for the summer. So she was hoping this big shop would get some help from car to fridge from the men of her house. I'm off wakeboarding and Lucas is nowhere to be seen. So she has to do it all herself, and she's a bit irked about this. It was a hot day. And then she's like, she wonders where Lucas is, but she doesn't think too much more about it until about 20 minutes later when Lucas arrives back, having gone to the grocery store.
Oh, no.
He'd helped write the shopping list. He couldn't find the shopping list because it was in Carson's hands, but he'd been to the grocery store and bought all the things he could remember from the shopping list.
Oh,
so the fridge is now overflowing with double counts of everything that was on the shopping list.
You got to hit the perishable items first.
Right. He said, I thought it was strange that both your cars were missing, but I knew you'd gone boating, so...
he was just trying to be helpful.
He was just trying to be helpful, yeah. I couldn't really criticize him. I was like, I totally see how it happened. He said, I did think it was strange that neither of your cars was there, but I was like, well, they must have had a reason to...
That's an expensive double trip to the grocery store too.
Yeah. He didn't get all of the things she got, but he spent a plenty as well. So.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start handing them out to the neighbors.
Yeah,
hey, you want packs of ramen noodles or whatever?
The other thing that happened while I was out boating was that my friends Tim and Ali took their dog Mac, who's a really nice dog, and I like Mac a lot. And when we were done wakeboarding, we went swimming, and the water was cold. But it was the day was hot though, so it was nice to get the cold water. But we were swimming, and we were really trying to get Mac to jump in the water. We're like, "Come on, Mac, you can do it. Jump in the water. Come on, you can do it." And he was kind of like nosing towards the edge, but you could see he didn't really want to do this. So we didn't force it. We weren't trying to make the dog unhappy or anything. But where we just pulled up in the middle of this little bay area, and there's kind of beaches around it. And other people had pulled their boats up to the beaches.
Yep.
And some of them had dogs. And these dogs were running on the beach and jumping into the water. And Mac was very interested in this.
That might be enough enticement.
Well, it turns out we sit down, we get back on the boat and have a bit of lunch. And Mac just decides, all right, you're right, I'm going for it. And he leaps off the boat.
Right now, when you're on the boat and drying off,
he starts swimming for the shore. So I dive in after him to try and sort of like get back. And then as I dive in, as I hit the water with my hands, I'm like, I bet my doctor wouldn't want me diving into the water with my back shoulder.
I bet you're right.
But I managed to get in front of him off the dive and turn him around. So he swims back towards the back of the boat where the ladder is. My friends Tim and Ali on the boat are like, come on, Matt, come on. But they don't get in the water or anything like that. So I'm swimming after him back to the boat, but he just keeps swimming around the front of the boat, and off he goes again. And now he's got a head start on me, and I don't have the dive to get.
Yeah. And you're running out of steam from all your doggy paddling.
So I climb back on the boat as Tim dives into the water, and Tim's swimming after the dog. He didn't get the jump like I did. So now the race is on, because the dog knows where these dogs are on the beach, and he's going for it. I get back on the boat, and Ali's like, I'm going to drive the boat to the shore. I'm like, oh, okay. And so she just guns it, and I go flying on the boat. And she says,
off the back.
When I slow down, you leap in the water again. I'm like, okay.
What is happening?
So she's kind of racing towards the shore, and then she hits the brakes, and I go flying off the front of the boat. So I'm now ahead of Tim, but still behind the dog, and I'm going like crazy after the dog. And I'm closing, but just at the right pace where he gets to the shore, like just a yard before me, and then as soon as his feet touch the sand, he's off. Yeah. So he runs at these dogs, but the woman who owned the dogs had a long time to see this all coming.
Yeah, I bet. When she got up off the ground from laughing, she could take action.
So she had 3 dogs, and she had them all corralled, and she very cleverly, I thought, she had a handful of sand And as Matt came towards her, she threw the handful of sand in his face. And it totally stopped him. He was like, oh, didn't hurt him.
What was that?
Yeah, it made him sort of like, And meanwhile, I, like a shipwreck victim, are crawling up the sand after him. I grab hold of him, and then I just stand there with my hands on my knees, like gasping for breath for like 3 minutes. But the lady was very nice. She said that dog looks really nice. But she said, but one of mine's a bit of a lunatic, so I just wanted to keep them apart.
What a scene that must have been to behold.
It was quite something.
I would like to have been on a different boat watching it all unfold.
Yeah. I just loved Ali's plan of like, you stand on the front of the boat like the flying lady. Right. I'll hit the brakes and you just fly into the water. So I dove into the water again, this time already thinking about how stupid it would be to dive into the water with a bad shoulder.
You were like the little symbol on the front of the Rolls Royce.
Exactly. Exactly.
It was starting to sound a bit like a swim team relay there. You guys tagging out.
When I finally got the dog back on the boat, Ali said to the two of us, she said, Ali's great. She's a great lady, but she only has 2 levels of stress, 0 and 10.
Okay.
No middle ground. So this whole time, I'm laughing. I'm laughing from the instant he jumps in the water until I catch him on the beach. I'm laughing at the whole thing. Ali's not laughing.
Oh.
She's angry, and she thinks we should all shut up laughing.
Well, there's not that much to be angry about, though. The dog saw something and went after it, right? I mean...
I felt... Well, she said afterwards, she said, I cannot believe that you two are the slowest swimmers in the world. I was quite tired, actually.
You need to get Molly at the front of that boat. Maybe,
All right, let's get down to business. How do we leave Quentyn Martell, who is apparently the Dragontamer? If I was Quentyn, I would be trying to find a tamer dragon, but let's find out. Last we saw of Quentyn, he was rejecting the idea from his friends that when Sir Barristan the Bold tells you to run, you run.
Not a bad
All
plan.
Quentyn could foresee if he did run home empty-handed was disappointment and mockery, so he arranged a meeting with the tattered prince, commander of his former sellsword company, the Windblown. A risky move considering the Dornish men deserted that company and are the reason several of the Windblown are currently imprisoned in Meereen. Quentyn wanted to strike a deal, the Windblown's help with stealing a dragon for the promise of gold when they returned to Dorne. The tattered prince countered that he wanted the payment to be pentos. Mackelly, why don't we give a summary of this one? And I will mention just there are some depictions of self-harm in this summary, so just a trigger warning for anyone who this might be a trigger for.
Right, yes. So Prince Quentyn Martell can't sleep. He pours himself some wine and stares at the flame of a candle, eventually putting his hand over the flame and lowering it until the flame touches his skin. When he cries out in pain, Gerris, who had been watching, asks if he's gone mad. Quentyn thinks to himself that he's not gone mad. He's just scared. He doesn't want to burn.
Instead, he admits that he can't sleep. Gerris suggests more orthodox ways to get to sleep than self-immolation. Amongst his ideas is to visit a red grace. Drinkwater thinks that Westerosi scepters could learn a thing or two. He's also worried that Quentyn will die a virgin. Quentyn doesn't want to die at all. In fact, what he wants to do is go home and marry Gwyneth Ironwood. He has some of his father in him after all.
Well, I didn't get that line.
Oh, because that's the kind of that's the Doran Martell thing to do. Doran Martell would not go down and rescue these dragons.
Oh, yeah, he'd go home and get married.
He would go home and marry the girl he loved.
Yes, okay. I get you now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, okay. He deflects by asking if Dany would be pleased to learn he visited a whore. Gerris thinks she might be okay with it. An experienced man could be what she wants. Quentyn says that she has a paramour, and he's not here to please her in the bedchamber, but to marry. Gerris points out the obvious. Quentyn retorts that she has no love for Hisdar. Gerris snorts derision. A prince should know better than to consider love as a factor in marriage. Quentyn turns the conversation to what he has in mind, a grand adventure. Gerris thinks that men are killed on grand adventures. Quentyn points to his legacy and his fear of being forgotten. Nobody has forgotten the dragon riders.
Drinkwater thinks Daenerys is dead and that Quentyn might join her if he persists. Quentyn cuts him off. He gives Gerris the option to leave and go home, then he heads for bed again. They wake before dawn and break their fast with no wine. Quentyn continues to think of the songs that will be sung of him. They dress as Brazen Beasts. The Tattered Prince has given them the password to get through checkpoints. That password is dog.
Speaking of dogs,
yeah,
we've got...
I'm hoping my very good microphone is taking away the sound of my dogs going berserk, but they are going berserk. But Mackelly hears me on a different microphone than I record on. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So you get the unadulterated noise around me while I'm trying to record. The Tattered Prince had told Quentyn that Quentyn doesn't want to know how they got that password. Quentyn brings a whip, having seen Daenerys use one to subdue Drogon.
The men guarding the Great Pyramid used to be the Unsullied. Now they're Brazen Beasts. Quentyn is banking on that making all the difference. At a side entrance, they provide the password to the men on duty and are relieved when the guards accept it and swap out their shifts manning the gate. When the coast is clear, they signal for the cart.
The cart contains the quartered carcass of an ox and 2 dead sheep. 6 men accompany the cart, 5 dressed as Brazen Beasts and Pretty Maris, who does not bother with costumes. The cart will play 2 roles: bring in the food meant to make the dragons full and more manageable, also to smuggle the dragons back out in chains.
We'll be right back.
Hello, friends. Are you ready to make some unforgettable memories? Well, if so, consider the Marriott Bonvoy program. Discover the perfect destination for your summer getaway and unlock exclusive deals on luxurious accommodations. With our affiliate partnership, you'll enjoy unbeatable savings and a seamless booking experience. Don't let summer slip away. Visit Marriott Bonvoy today and make this vacation season one for the books. Use our Ghosts of Harrenhal affiliate page to check it all out and buy Bonvoy points or give some as a gift. The link to our page is in the show notes. Quentyn feels lightheaded, like he's stuck in a nightmare. He suddenly feels the need to move his bowels, but, well, there's no time for that. They make their way through the labyrinthine maze at the base of the pyramid until huge iron doors stand in front of them. 4 guards stand in front of those doors. Quentyn gives the word of the day, dog. However, this time, something's wrong.
The sergeant calls for the guards to seize them. Arch kills the man with his warhammer, and the other 3 guards are dispatched as well. Staring at the dead bodies, Quentyn wonders why his father sent him on this mission. Fire and blood are the answers. When the doors are thrown open, they are hit with heat and brimstone emanating out of the darkness beyond.
Quent doesn't want to do this. But why else would Dany have shown him the dragons if not to prove himself to her? While stepping through the doorway, torch in hand, Quentyn reminds himself of the dragons' names. Rhaegal is the green one, Viserion the white. He must use their names to master them. He must stay calm and authoritative. The girl was fearless when facing Drogon. If she can do it, so can Quentyn.
2 bronze eyes rise up before him, connected to a long green neck. Rhaegal. Quentyn calls for food, and a lamb is tossed to the dragon. While Rhaegal consumes the lamb, Quentyn looks for Viserion. The torchlight finds him in a cave in the roof that he has dug as a lair. Staring at the white dragon, all Quentyn's plans leave his head. Viserion launches from his lair, landing between Quentyn and the entrance with a roar.
The dragon surveys the intruders, stopping longest at Pretty Maris. Quent surmises that Viserion knows Maris is a female and is looking for his mother. Quent calls his name and the dragon turns, but quickly loses attention and makes for the exit. One of the men launches a crossbow bolt at the dragon. Before the man can reload, the dragon has him in his jaws.
While the dragon is eating the foolish man, Quentyn calls him by name, Viserion, and flashes the whip. He will do this. He will not let his father down. Again he calls, Viserion, and he commands that he get down, the whip lashing the dragon across the face. At that moment, Quentyn feels hot wind and hears a roar behind him. Quentyn turns to find Rhaegal. He raises the whip and sees that the whip and his hand are on fire. He realizes then that all of him is burning, and he screams.
Wow. Really sad, tragic chapter.
I know you're going to cover this in spoilers, but do you think he's dead?
So it's going to come down to that Targaryen blood, right? Like the Targaryen blood that Daenerys had that allowed her to survive the pyre, which wasn't dragon flame.
Right, but just at the same time, Viserys was killed by molten gold.
Right. Yeah, so it's not foolproof, for sure.
Right. Is it character? Is it pure blood, or is it... Because, I mean, they basically have the same DNA, Viserys and Daenerys.
Right.
Is it character as well? Are the dragons looking for someone that they can believe in as their rider?
Maybe. Yeah, it's unclear what bonds a rider. Well, I'm going to actually cover this in background as well. That it's unclear what bonds a rider to a dragon.
I mean, the thing is, I think it's ambiguous that whether or not he died here and now, because I could imagine Gerris or Arch knocking him to the ground, rolling him over, and putting the fire out. Now, he's going to be horribly burned.
Right.
No question about that. But not necessarily killed. So I think there's still a possibility for more questions. And sort of thinking about this at a meta level, I know George Martin doesn't mind killing off his POV characters, but Quentyn's story hasn't really gone anywhere.
Right.
And it's not like a consequential death either. It's not like Ned's death. Ned's death was an incredibly bold writing decision. But his death was always going to have, like, ripple effects on the rest of the books.
Yeah.
Quentyn's death, I mean, especially... I was thinking about this later on. If Doran hears this news, will he believe it? Will he think something else happened, something untoward happened to Quentyn?
Oh, yeah.
But then I thought to myself, well, not if Arch and Gerris tell Doran. If Arch and Gerris tell Doran, he will totally believe it. Why not?
Yeah. To your earlier point, though, it is... You do wonder what if we don't know, like you said. I mean, they could have cape. They could put him out with, if he was burning, they could wrap him in capes. To quench the fire. So if he doesn't survive, though, I think it's fair to question what the point of his storyline was. Why introduce this character?
Right.
Make him a POV. Have him basically do nothing but travel in our storyline from Volantis to Meereen and then kill him off. What was gained from that?
Yeah, this is what I think. I try to think of the consequences of his death, and they just don't seem that big. Yes, Doran Martell's attitude towards Daenerys could be influenced by this if he doesn't believe the story of Quentyn's death that he learns. But I think he will believe it if he hears it from people he trusts.
Well, that will. Unfortunately, though, it's not a guarantee that Gerris and Arch will make it back to Dorne alive themselves.
Very true. Very true.
So, but yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of rippling. Now, we don't know what's going to happen to Gerris and Arch. They could be killed. They could be killed here in this. What happens after this chapter ends.
And then you could imagine, I don't know, Daenerys and her new husband, Victarion Greyjoy, arriving on the shores of Dorne and announcing to Doran Martell that they're going to be the king and queen of the Seven Kingdoms and that Doran should support them. And, Quentyn, I would have chosen him, but he went fishing for dragons and got flambéed.
Yeah. How's that story go over?
I believe in that. Yeah, exactly. And that could cause friction in that potential alliance. I would think Victarion Greyjoy would create quite a bit of friction. I'm not sure why I chose him as a husband. And
could it cause confusion and conflict between Dorne and Aegon? Might it create some reason for May that be the reason for the storyline of Quentyn's storyline, that what is Dorne going to do when Aegon is presented? I'm your nephew, Aegon Targaryen. I'm the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. Maybe that was the whole point. But why make him a POV character?
Well, but actually, you've hit on something there, because maybe you needed Quentyn to go through this, to die, to get out of the way, to create a reason for Doran to gravitate towards Aegon.
Yeah.
He has other sons, though. I mean, he has Tristan, right? Yeah,
he does have Tristan, yeah. And he's got Arianne as his heir.
I don't know. I think he might not be dead. That's my hunch. My hunch is he's not dead. And actually, the dragons might have respect for someone who survived dragon flames.
Maybe.
And now he becomes a dragon rider through trial by fire. There you go.
There you go.
That's my speculative fiction right now.
It's a silver lining. I like it. I hope that's the facts, because otherwise, it was a really sad chapter. Jenny and I mentioned last week in spoilers, which you wouldn't have heard yet because you haven't listened to the episode yet. But I have mentioned that it's really heartbreaking when he burns his hand on the candle flame and thinks, I don't want to burn, I don't want to die, when you know the fate that's coming at the end of the chapter. Just this fear that he has that sadly comes true. Whether he's dead or not, we don't know, but he certainly is burned.
Yeah. I wondered about that. I wondered if that self-harming with the flame, which, I mean, it wasn't major. He was just, I mean, I think most of us have at some point or other tested our metal against a candle flame only to go, oh, no, we lose and we'll never do it again. Yeah. But I wondered if it was kind of like let me see how this feels, because maybe I'd be okay with Dragonfire if I can. Good God, that hurt. Perhaps he should have listened.
Right.
Imagine that all over endlessly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he really was. Just, I want to see what this feels like, and that probably just terrified him even further. And he's laying in bed, and his life is playing before his eyes. He should have kissed the Drinkwater sisters. He should have visited his mother in Norvos. And it's ultimately all unnecessary. You can feel him feeling his father's pressure driving him forward.
Yeah, but the thing is, his father is Quentyn Martell.
Yeah.
If his father was Oberyn, I could kind of understand that attitude, but his father is Doran.
Yeah.
To me, coming home safe is what Doran's looking for.
Right.
First and foremost, anything else is an upside.
I agree. The pressure is false pressure. It doesn't really exist. As a father, and I'm sure Doran would feel this same way, I would be begging him, commanding him, whatever it took, not to do this.
Right.
It's most certainly not worth it. First of all, Dany isn't even around, and you can't be sure that she's alive. And, okay, if he had met the dragons with her several times and developed a rapport over time, maybe you try this.
Yeah.
But as it was designed, was just a fool's mission destined to fail. But the whole way through the chapter, he's having these thoughts like, this is my duty and my destiny. At the door, before going into the pit, he thinks, Father, why am I here? And he's just really scared, and you can feel the
But it's
scared.
all self-imposed, right? I mean, that's the thing.
Right,
it is all self-imposed. He didn't have to go through with it. It was... I wish his maester died along the way, didn't he?
Yeah.
Remember his maester's name?
Kedry, something like that.
I wonder if he might have talked him out of this. Because his peers, Arch and Gerris, he didn't want to be seen to be backing down to them, but a maester might have given him a bit more sort of wise counsel. Gerris tried to talk him out of it, but...
He did. Yeah, they both did at some level, but Gerris really tried the morning that this chapter starts with, basically just poo-pooing everything that I guess, pouring cold water because it was raining. I was pouring cold water on everything that Dorne was saying. But at the end, it's his decision, I guess,
Yeah, it is kind of depressing because a lot of it is kind of that that teenage boy thing of wanting to leave a mark. But it's like, you're a teenage boy. You've got time to make a mark. Don't do something foolhardy right now.
Yes. In fact, it's funny you say teenage boy. He's about 18. And I thought about, what this grand plan is to steal a dragon, find and rescue Dany, and then she'll love him as she does Dario. And it's a noble plan, but so poorly thought through that my thought as I was reading it is, this was clearly designed by people without fully formed frontal lobes, because it is so poorly thought through. Some of it doesn't even make sense what their plan was.
Yeah. The interesting one, and I almost didn't pick this up, but you brought it into the summary, was that he was saying to himself that part of his self-justification was that Dany showed him the dragons because she wanted him to do this.
Right.
But things changed so much, like you just said a few minutes ago. Maybe her plan was to show him the dragons over and over again until the dragons got used to him.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily short-circuit that, and you can't guess her mind from that one visit. It could have been very different what she had in mind. Maybe what she was trying to do was to scare the living bejesus out of you so you wouldn't go anywhere near those dragons.
We'll be right back.
This episode is sponsored by Audible. To get a free audiobook, or 2 if you're an Amazon Prime member, go to our exclusive URL, audibletrial.com/ghostsharrenhal. You can find the link in our show notes. Yeah, there's that one line. It's the only thing that... It's the line where she says this to Quentyn after they just saw the dragons, that the dragon has 3 heads. My marriage need not be the end of your hopes. Yeah. That is an unfortunate line for her to deliver and then disappear on.
Yeah,
because
true enough.
We don't know what exactly she was getting at. And so you couple that with him being shown the dragons by her and then disappearing, and you leave him thinking, oh, she wants me to go try and tame one of these dragons, which is just such a leap. Yeah. such a far leap.
And the kicker of it all is that he has these thoughts throughout the chapter of the things he could do instead,
Yeah.
And, it's kind of, that's what I should be doing. And then he carries on with the bad plan. It's like, no, go do those things. Go home. Marry,
Yes, exactly. He seemed to think that his Targaryen blood was going to save him, but that's just such a thin shield that has not been properly vetted.
For 200 years.
Yeah. At least Brown Ben Plum spent time with the dragons and saw that they took to him.
Yeah.
So even though I would not recommend, I would think it would be equally bad plan for Brown Ben Plum to try this, at least he has some evidence to go on that there's some connection.
I also don't think you need to tell Brown Ben Plum that. I think he would very carefully avoid exposing himself to the dragons.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Yes, he's the kind of guy who's going to avoid.
But you're right. He might be successful because, as you say, he has both the underlying blood, which gives him a chance, and something of a rapport built up over time.
Yes.
Gerris Drinkwater is a bit like Jon's chorus of disapproval. Yeah, I noticed. Every word out of the boss's mouth you criticize and complain about. But it's much easier to forgive him, though, because he just seemed more right than those complainers in the Night's Watch.
That is the major difference there. Mm-hmm. Those guys were unwilling to budge from their preconceived views, whether they were right or wrong.
Right.
Here he is clearly trying to talk common sense into...
And those Night Watch complainers, they were complaining that we shouldn't let the wildlings through, which is just... It's a position which has zero possible merit in light of the fact that the dead rise and fight you.
Yes.
It makes zero sense.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's another one of the key differences here. Everything that Gerris is saying, for the most part, is making sense. You don't need to worry about your legacy we're all probably not going to be remembered anyway.
Yeah.
And you don't even know that Daenerys is alive, and she's already married, and all the things that he keeps refuting Quentyn's thoughts with.
Yeah, I will say, this is almost pedantry, but I think the whole password thing was pretty cockamamie, right? I mean, basically, it's the word dog. Now, he does mention, and this is a good point, that the Brazen Beasts are made up of people from all over the place, because a lot of them are freed slaves, and so they would have been from all over Essos,
right.
and even Westerosi. So it might have to be a simple word, but if it's just you to give that password to get through a gate... Okay, here's what I do to get the password. I set up a sentry guard in the middle of a corridor sometime, have a Brazen Beast walk up to me and say, "What's the password?" And he says, "Dog," and I say, "You're free to pass." And now I've got the password.
Right.
And I can go anywhere I want.
Just
you see?
Randomly on the street.
Right. You just have to be first to say it. That's all. If you bump into the Brazen Beast, what's the password? What's the password? Oh, you trying to break into the Brazen Beast too?
Be like that Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other. What's the password? We all need it. Yeah, that's it. So the Unsullied were replaced by the Brazen Beasts.
I like the way you put it in the summary, actually. You said that they used to be Unsullied. I was like, did it grow back?
Maybe that's what's making all the difference. But there would have been no bribing the Unsullied into giving code or garb or any such thing. So, but they were removed as the police force because Dany was tired of losing them to murder by the Sons of the Harpy and let the Myronese police their own city. But I wonder, why didn't the code word dog work the second time at the gates of the pit?
Interesting. Perhaps because it's a very sensitive area, they have a special code word down there that only...
Yeah, that's very possible.
It might have been dragon.
It might have been.
Dragon?
Yeah.
Come on in.
Why did they? Did I say dog? I meant dragon. Sorry, I was thinking of the other gate.
At the same time, I also wonder what's the point of guarding the gate to the dragons, really. I mean, like, I suppose someone might have ill intent towards the dragons, like want to go in there and fire a crossbow bolt or something, but it feels like... It feels like they've got pretty strong self-defense, those two. You could just you could leave that door open, knock yourselves out if you want to go in.
Maybe it's more of a keeping them in than other people out
enough.
Situation.
True enough.
I wondered if
they don't know the password.
I wondered if maybe it was that. So it was different. So outside. The gate outside the temple, the masks were a rat and a fox. And then inside, they were all wearing locusts masks. I wonder if maybe the password is different depending on the type of animal.
Mm.
So rats and fox are mammals, so it would be dog. The locusts have, I don't know, locusts as the password.
Orkin.
Yeah, orchid.
So the dragons are interested in Pretty Maris and Quentyn. The funny thing is about this to me is that Quentyn thinks to himself, see, the dragons are interested in Pretty Maris, they must miss their mother. He is observing and rationalizing at a time when my mind would have been going, because there's dragons flying everywhere and fire and death. But well done, Quentyn. You kept your cool. But I also wonder about that. Do you think that that's what was happening? I mean, that's a reasonable rationalization. I tried to think of another reason why the dragons might sniff around Pretty Meris, not around anybody else. The one thing that's different about her is that she was female, but also not dressed as a brazen beast. So perhaps just the presence of a face.
Oh, yeah, that could be too. Yeah. I thought it was the same thing Quentyn thought, that the fact that she was the lone female and their mother is female, and so.
But how sensitive are dragons to Targaryen blood? I mean, do they smell a drop of it a mile away, kind of thing?
Well, if so, then Quentyn should have had more sway than he did, I guess.
Right. And also, they should have recognized Brittany Meris as not Daenerys more quickly.
Yeah. Yes, that is true. When I would have, if I was Quentyn and I saw how much attention Meris was getting paid, I would think, uh-oh, they're not paying any attention to my Targaryen blood.
Quick, Gerris, make me an Unsullied.
But one of the fundamental flaws in this whole plan is that Quentyn is comparing himself to Dany regarding the ability to cow the dragons. He thinks to himself, the girl was alone in silk and she was fearless. I must not be afraid. She did it, so can I. Has he not heard her be called the mother of dragons?
Yeah, but here's I knew where you were going with that, and then I thought to myself, the one thing that perhaps is stuck in his head is how scared she was when he was scared of the dragons, because she was scared too.
Oh, when they were down in the pit
they were down
together.
there together. But when she took control of the dragons, she showed no fear, and he was like, "That's all you need to do. Instead of running away and being afraid of them, you just need to look them in the eye and say, no, I'm the boss of you."
Whip them on the nose.
Exactly.
Tell them down. Yeah, that's again quite the leap, though.
Yeah.
I mean, she is literally the mother of these dragons.
Yes. Yes. He is the jilted potential future husband of the mother of dragons. They probably can't follow the path, to be honest.
Yeah.
They don't even know the password, and that's dog.
But you had said that Quentyn kind of kept his wits together, but I don't know. I felt like once they were in the pit, there was scant little thought put to the plan originally. The plan was to get them eating, and then get both dragons eating, and let them get full, and let them get complacent and more manageable, and then they would try and get them in chains and put them on the cart. While Viserion is eating, Quentyn starts whipping him and calling him his name. Let him at least finish that brazen beast before you.
Yeah.
So they still have all but one lamb is still sitting on the cart. Like you got things out of order here. Get back to the plan.
That's very true. Actually, I hadn't really thought about that, but he did sort of like rush to the end when he actually feeding them to bloating might have actually tamed them a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
When Viserion lands between, and again, I'm just like you. I would probably have been in the same boat as Quentyn, like just screaming my head off, trying to hide in some crevice. But when Viserion lands between Quentyn and the gate, maybe the first thought, the most logical thought, if you were looking at this from afar, you might think, throw him a lamb. Let him get eating on that. Yeah. Wait a second, there's two dragons. Where's the other one? Throw him one of those oxen. Right. Get him eating that oxen. And back and forth, But again, rational mind, I'm sitting here calmly reading.
Yeah.
Still.
I'll also say, because there's a couple of things about that would not have happened to me. Well, the whole thing wouldn't have happened to me because I don't have a death wish. But one is, the dragon could not have landed between me and the gate because I would have been at the gate. I mean, I'm in there shouting at them, throwing them food, ready to whip them, but I'm standing at the gate. I'm not walking 2 steps further in.
Right.
And secondly, that no one's burning me from behind because my back is hard against something impermeable.
Yeah, right. That was kind of, I think it reminded me of that saying. I think it's attributed to Mike Tyson, but I don't think he actually coined it. That
I think he did say this.
Everyone's got a plan until they're punched in the mouth or something like that. He did say it. I'm not sure if he was the original to say it or not, but it kind of reminds me of that. Like they had this plan. The minute they get in there, the minute he sees Rhaegal's eyes, he gets punched in the mouth and his plan goes out the window. Because you're right. They should have gone in with the cart first, thrown the food into 2 separate piles, and let those two dragons feast. And then, but here's the thing. The extraction plan made no sense to me in the first place. They brought chains to restrain the dragons. Fine, okay, I guess if they really get that comatose after they eat, maybe you could somehow chain these dragons up. But what about the dragon fire? I guess you're going to chain their mouths shut as well? Like,
yeah, but maybe the point is they get sleepy after they've eaten, and then they won't actually care. And they do have loops around their neck, so you could loop your chain through that. So it wouldn't be. It's not like you're trying to tie it around their neck. You could loop your chain through the loop slowly and carefully, and then drag them out of there. And they might be so docile they don't care and don't set the fire going. But also they might be like, hey, we're going out the door. I wonder where we're going, kind of thing. And they might be a little bit interested. You're right. Step one, feed them every scrap of food you brought, including the guy who fired the crossbow bolt at them out of the blue for no apparent reason other than to antagonize them.
Yeah, so that part, I'm unsure what he expected to accomplish there. Did he think he was going to kill the dragon with one crossbow bolt? I mean, what? I guess he panicked, right?
Yeah, he panicked, but what's the point of having a crossbow, really? I mean, like, it's not the right weapon for the situation.
Right. Once you got past those guards, you just drop the crossbow for
You need a blanket. That's your best bet here. A sturdy blanket.
Yeah. Well, but he did. So the description is that the crossbow bolt hit Viserion and glanced off of him. But then it did draw dragon blood, a stream of fire. Yeah. So maybe they're slightly more, or more than slightly more vulnerable than Tyrion had told us, because he said their only vulnerability is their eyes.
Well, but that's maybe a full-grown dragon is what he's talking about. Yeah,
exactly. So now that they're loose, could they be harmed by arrows and scorpion bolts? It seems like it now that they're out in
I got that feeling with Drogon. You know, I mean, Drogon was wounded several times in the fight. Yeah, so
exactly. So Quentyn's focused on Viserion, and Rhaegal is unchecked behind him. And I'm trying not to blame Quentyn, because I imagine you're watching one dragon. It's hard enough to turn your eyes away from that dragon to think about the fact that there is a second dragon behind you.
Can I remind you one more time of the story of me swimming with the shark? I swam in the ocean in Thailand, and we saw a shark, and I was so laser focused on that shark that I never saw the other two sharks that were swimming behind me.
It's right, exactly. But you didn't know the sharks were back there,
That's true. I did not know. If I'd known there were two sharks behind me, my head would have been snapping back and forth like I was being eaten by a shark, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just how again, trying not to throw judgment here, but you got to know where both dragons are at all times.
Yeah.
And I guess he just got caught up in the chaos and forgot the other dragon was behind him.
I know I've mentioned this movie before, but have you seen the movie Blackfish? The thing about the orcas in captivity.
Oh, no. I was like, I know the term, but it was Brendan Blackfish that I was thinking of.
That's a really interesting movie. It's what's particularly interesting about it for me is the fact that they interview former trainers of the killer whales, and they talk about the fact that they don't have any real understanding of killer whales. They were never trained about that. But what they do understand is how to train an animal, how to make an animal do what you want it to do.
Yeah,
and
you have told me this before.
They could have gone in there and got Viserion and Rhaegal to do what they wanted.
Yeah, maybe. Because they would have stuck to their plan, probably.
Exactly, yes. They were stuck to their plan. They would have had a big bucket of fish and a whip.
Right. Give the fish first.
Fish first. Yeah.
Do you think Rhaegal attacked Quint because Quentyn was whipping Viserion?
Interesting.
And because the crossbow bolt was fired at Viserion? Think he was defending his
Yeah, that's
sibling.
interesting. I hadn't really thought of that. I don't think of them as having too much love between them. But you know what? Actually, one thing that's strange, one thing that keeps catching me out is I keep thinking that at least one of these two is female, but they're not.
Maybe.
But they're not, right?
The
Oh,
description, I'm pretty sure, was because I checked because I referred to Viserion as a he, and I went back to look. The description does refer to Viserion as a he. I can't remember if Rhaegal was.
I think
the
they're
same
all
way.
three male.
I do as well, but I can't say for sure.
Yeah, but when I'm reading the books, I need to be reminded of that fact because for some reason I feel like at least one of them is female. But
Yeah, I could understand that. Yeah.
considering something monumental happens, it's not that great of a chapter. All right, it's time for some spoilers. Remember, if you join us at the upper tiers of this, I mean, look, we're almost done, but you can go back and listen to all these fantastic spoilers. Join
That's
us
right.
at the upper tiers of the Buy Me a Coffee Sustainers and get the spoilers. Great spoilers. Thank you, Mackelly. How about some background?
Absolutely. So Quentyn is banking on his Targaryen blood to bond him with the dragon. This might sound like quite the dangerous limb to go out on, having done no previous testing of his theory. However, he's not the first to test partial Targaryen blood as a means to bond with a dragon. So let me back up real quick. Dating back at least as far as Orys Baratheon, the best friend and eventual hand of the king to Aegon the Conqueror, who was most likely Aegon's bastard half-brother. The right of First Night was a special honor on the island of Dragonstone. The reason being that the small folk of the island considered their Targaryen overlords closer to gods than to humans. So if a bride conceived a child from her Targaryen lord, it was considered a blessed event. These children were dubbed dragon seeds. Of course, then King Jaehaerys I outlawed the practice of First Night. Now, let's fast forward about half a century or so to the Dance of the Dragons, and the dragon seeds come into focus yet again. Now, I'm going to stop right here. Quick disclaimer. There might be some House of the Dragon spoilers that I'm about to reveal here, so if you do not want to hear this, just skip to comparison with the TV show, because I'm about to, right now, tell you... Okay.
I don't want this spoiled for me, because I've obviously forgotten, but I'm confident I'll have forgotten again before I watch this. So,
I think so, too.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Some of it's already happened.
Okay.
If you haven't started watching it yet, then you're going to get some stuff spoiled here.
We're not talking about a future series of House of the Dragon.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
What I'm about to say has already kind of happened at the end of Season 2.
Gotcha.
So, Prince Jaehaerys, son of Queen Rhaenyra, realized that his mother's side of the Targaryen Civil War, the Blacks, had more dragons than riders.
Okay.
So he spread the word that anyone who could master a dragon would be given lands, riches, and a knighthood. Oh, and a dragon.
Yeah.
That's it. Probably should have led with that part.
Once you've got a dragon, you've got a dragon, really. It's hard to take them back. You know?
Yeah, how do you do that? Many a suitor tried and failed in spectacularly gruesome fashion. In the end, 4 matches were made between rider and dragon. And this is what I was talking about at the beginning of our discussion, because it's unclear if these 4 were dragon seeds, and if so, whether it played any role in their ability to bond with their dragon. Of course, it being the Dance of the Dragons, things got messy, and there were deaths and betrayals and disappearances and the like.
As I recall, not to continue to ruin the show for everyone, but I think the show kind of definitely hinted that they were dragon seeds.
I think so, yeah. It's been a while since I watched that
me
episode,
too,
but I think so, yes.
All right. Excellente. Thank you. Comparison with the television show, there is no Quentyn Martell in the TV show, so this doesn't really happen. The closest comparison to this scene might be something that goes on to happen in the books, so if that's true, I apologize for the unintended spoiler. But Tyrion visits the 2 dragons. But I guess, no, it can't really happen because the dragons are going to escape here and now. I was thinking the dragons needed a way out of the pit, but they've got one now. They're getting out of here. Yeah.
They'd have to be recaptured.
Okay, so
Tyrion would have
I'm not worried about this being a spoiler then, because Tyrion visited the 2 dragons while they were there, upon learning that they were not eating because of Daenerys' absence.
Oh,
and he
okay.
went down there and unchained them, but left them down there.
Yeah.
And they don't escape until Drogon comes back.
Oh,
In the
okay.
show, and then
I did not
they escape
remember.
by themselves. Because they're no longer chained, they're loose in the
Yeah.
lair, and they break out of the lair when they hear Drogon come back.
Okay. Well, they clearly were eating because they ate the lamb, and Viserion ate the man. So
That was obviously a departure here.
Yes.
I didn't see any pedantry. Did you see pedantry, sir?
No, nothing beyond character decisions.
I don't like character decisions and poor choices of password.
Yes. Have they never taken a password class in any of their...
must have one capital letter and one number.
And one special character.
One special character, yeah. News and notes.
We've got a double dose of good news to celebrate from Fritz V of 39. First off, Fritz has joined us at the Landed Knight tier on Buy Me a Coffee. So thank you so much for that. Yes, thank you, Fritz. But Fritz didn't stop there with the generosity. Fritz also bought us 3 cups of Arbor Gold. So double thank you goes out to Fritz.
Thank you, Fritz. That's awesome.
I'll just say Fritz has some really great insights and is very active and engaging and entertaining on the Discord server.
Yeah. Fritz is one of the people who I feel sort of obliged to work harder for.
Yes, yeah. We have to keep our game sharp.
Exactly, yeah. We're going to do a sustainer call coming up. So if your Buy Me a Coffee tier can include sustainer calls, check your inbox. It might just be tomorrow if you're listening to this the day it drops. So
right.
You haven't got much. If this is your first warning, go check your email quickly.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, why don't you go? You're better at explaining things than I am most times. So why don't you explain what we're about to do?
To those not reading the books, you may not realize how close to the end we are. We are actually quite close to the end of the extant books.
After this week, we've got 3 chapters and an epilogue.
Right. So we've agonized for a while about what we're going to do when this all comes to an end. For at least 280 chapters, we thought we would read The Winds of Winter. But now with only 3 left, we're beginning to doubt that that's going to come to pass.
It's seeming a bit unlikely at this point.
So we haven't discussed it at that great a length. We've basically just kept pushing it away, not thinking about it, what we're going to do. So what the plan is to take a little bit of time off, take the summer. We're recording this in May, so take a couple of months off in the summer and see where we land. Maybe record some little vignettes here and there just to keep things fresh. And certainly, if Winds of Winter ever drops, we'll start up again. But given that doesn't seem to have any kind of timeline, we might do something else instead or before then. We shall see.
Yeah, we've been discussing things. You throw a lot of ideas at me. That's
I do,
for sure. Yes, and they're good idedes for sure.
Yeah.
So
I've literally forgotten everything I've ever suggested to you.
So I'll have to throw them back at you, and you'll be like, "That's a terrible idea."
Yeah, exactly.
What dumb idea was that?
Which of these 3 ideas was yours?
But basically, we're just going to take some time off. It's been, by the time we're basically at it, 6 3/4 years,
wow.
And so it's a really surreal thing. But yeah, we're gonna take some time off and see what we want to do going from here.
And we've got a fresh new review. I see.
Yeah, a review that's only 6 years old, 6.5.
Dating
so
back
last
to
week,
November 2020. That's impressive.
Yeah. So you missed this last week, which you'll catch up on when you listen to that episode. But Jenny mentioned that we had never read her review, and that she wrote it so long ago. So I went digging and I found it. And yes, like Simon said, November 8th of 2020, Jenny of Oldstones on podchaser.com said, This is a fun podcast for A Song of Ice and Fire enthusiasts. Simon and Mackelly have great rapport. They're knowledgeable about the subject and have interesting insights.
Did she have to put the interesting in whatever it was, quotes?
What she didn't write was, and I hope to be a co-host someday on the show.
Yeah. That's all it took. You just say nice things to us, you can become a co-host.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jenny. I hope we get to meet you sometime.
Yeah. Thank you. 6.5 years after the review.
All right, let's conclude this one. Is this the end of the road for Quentyn's storyline? It's not good. He's not going to be the same, that's for sure.
No, but you did paint a picture where chances are, unless this Targaryen blood is like Daenerys Targaryen level and he can survive fire, he's probably not going to come out as he was. But You're right. There is a chance he could survive this. But if he doesn't, I just, like we were saying earlier, I just don't know why you introduced this character. Not only do you introduce him, Resnack has been introduced and he could die.
Yeah.
And,
that's different. Yeah.
They made him a POV.
Yeah.
Multiple. And not even one of those prologue, epilogue POVs.
Right. And also not a POV to look at a situation from a different perspective. It was a whole story arc that otherwise didn't need any highlighting. It was Quentyn's story.
Yeah. And if he doesn't survive this, I just don't know. Maybe Winds of Winter will explain, or Dream of Spring, who knows if we ever get that far, will explain why Quentyn's storyline was important. But if he doesn't survive this, at this point, it's hard to understand. Yeah.
The dragons are free, and they're presumably not going to be very happy.
Yeah, so it's... Will they stick around and attack the Myronese and Yunkai alike? Jenny and I talked about that last week. Is there a way to target the Yunkai and spare the Myronese? Or could they be the ones that sniff out Dany?
Oh.
I'm not sure how helpful that would be, because all it would show to Dany is, oh, we've escaped.
Yeah.
But if she's on Drogon and she can't get back, I'm not sure how her other two dragons are going to help out.
There's a sort of logic to that, though, that somehow might be the catalyst for her coming back. I hadn't really thought about that.
Maybe.
They have to be careful, because the trigger happy crossbow bolt guy, he proved that they're not invulnerable here. He was quite close range, but he did damage, so they can't afford to go fighting the whole of these armies and fleets. That would not be good for them.
You're right. I mean, a crossbow bolt, I'm sure, is a very powerful weapon, but I think a scorpion bolt is probably even more so.
Right.
I mean, I would assume so.
Yep.
Now, it'd be fired from a longer range. Like you said, this was up close, but it is worrisome that...
Yeah.
They could be hurt or killed.
But hopefully what they want to do is stretch their wings. I mean, that's given that they've been tied up for so long.
That's what Drogon did. He flew off somewhere, and it didn't seem like Dany was in control of wherever he was headed. So, but I'm wondering, so we've played this out in the Griff episode, the Griff chapter. Will Doran reject Aegon, his nephew, as the true claimant to the Iron Throne, because he's expecting Quentyn to arrive with Dany any day now? And could that cause the confusion, the conflict between Dorne and Aegon's cause?
Yeah.
I think it depends on if he believes that Fagon is Aegon.
Right.
Actually, you know?
That's the most important thing. But of course, the thing about that belief is going to be just a hunch one way or the other, right? There's no proof one way or the other. So it's a hunch. And that hunch is going to be influenced by the politics of the day. You know, if Doran has ambitions for his son to sit the Iron Throne, he's going to be less inclined to see Aegon as real.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Also, I think it depends if news of Quentyn's possible death reaches Dorne before or after he meets Aegon.
How do you think Dorne handles if he meets Aegon, does truly believe that he is his nephew, and then learns that ultimately he sent his son to his death? Even if he doesn't learn the fact that for 50% of Quentyn's motivation was to not disappoint his father in this whole stealing a dragon thing. Even if he doesn't know that part, just the part about, I sent my son on this wild goose chase and now he's dead, and my nephew's here with a better claim than Daenerys had in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
That's brutal. It's a type of guilt he might never get over.
Yeah,
he might never get over, regardless the fact that he learned, if he learns his son has died.
Yeah, if he learns that his son died trying to not disappoint his father. I mean, imagine any of us learning that news. You'd be like, you wouldn't have.
Right. Just come home.
Exactly.
Just come home in one piece. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
We'll figure out the rest.
So next up we have a Jon chapter. So from the fire of the dragons to the chill of the wall.
That's right. And this is the last. All these are lasts now. This is the last Jon chapter, and I will just say you want to tune in to this one.
There's 4 ways that you can help us out. You could leave us a positive review and a 5-star rating, as this Jenny of Old Stones did. You could buy us a cup of our gold at buymeacoffee.com/ghostharrenhal. There you can become a sustainer at any of the various levels, like Fritz did. There's a tier
and Jenny.
Yes, indeed. There is a tier to match your budget and your interest. The upper tiers get you the spoilers. You could buy some merchandise from our store before the end of the books. You could get yourself some merchandise, ghostsofharrenhal.threadless.com, or you could just make a donation directly to our cause through our website, ghostsofharrenhal.buzzsprout.com.
And if you're looking for more ways to interact with us, well, one thing you could do is you could send us a text. The link is at the top of every episode show notes. Please just keep in mind we have no means of responding, but we do very much enjoy reading them. And if you're interested in keeping up on the latest Ghosts of Harrenhal news and developments, well, you can check us out on our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Ghost Harrenhal. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and YouTube.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.